Okay, I've got that all sanded, all wiped down and everything. Ready to get back in my paint. And this is all ready. And see, next time I get ready to wrap this, I can wrap it over here and then wrap it up. I can wrap it over there and wrap it up. I can wrap it over there and wrap it up. I can flip it around on the opposite side. Last thing I want to do is wrap this again in the very same place as old paint, because you're not right up against the plastic anymore, right? Okay? And so I'll just leave that and use it for next time. I've got my paint ready to paint up there on the ridges and all the other stuff that I showed you before. And I'll start that now and show you what I do next. Oh, before I do that, I'm gonna have to put some masking tape around that, I think. I mean, I could paint over it if I wanted. I don't know what the big deal is. You're probably, if you ask an inspector, they probably say no, because then it's hard to read all the numbers and all. Because see, there's an actual number that's stamped into the door right there all the way. And if you punch that in, it will go and tell you where that door is manufactured, whether or not it's a 20-minute rated door, when it was done, all that kind of stuff. And that's very important to keep. So on that aspect alone, I think I better put my masking tape up. And I'll take, instead of a sheetrock knife, I might get a razor blade and use that to cut the masking tape around that. Yeah, that's what I'll do. You see there? Look at that. How's that look? I just put the masking tape all the way across there and then took a very sharp razor blade, scored around there, pulled it off. Now when I paint around there, I'll still have to concentrate about getting it on there without building up an edge and all that kind of stuff. Okay? And I'll do that same thing on the door jamb before I paint it, because we don't want to cover up all of those numbers and all that kind of good stuff, okay? Just in case it's ever needed. I mean, granted, if you paint over it, you could always take the paint off with some crazy glue, or not crazy glue, goof off or anything else, and just wipe it on there and take the paint off. The last thing you want to do is leave all that on there for the next person. Okay, ready to paint. Okay, I got her all done. Painted all the edges. Double checked them all. And because after, you get down to raw wood, you paint over it one time, do your paintbrush both directions, get it, and then look back after it gets ready to dry, and you'll be surprised. There's some more on there, and you'll have to hit it some more. Okay, and then I hit all of the slight imperfections, and I went along the top and stuff. And what I'm going to do is, after this dries, I'm going to lightly sand it again, just around the edges where I painted, along the top, along the bottom, and anywhere like stuff like this. If I don't paint this little bit here, and I put the roller on there, chances are this could slightly show, and I don't want that. And see, I painted around the doorknobs because those had some discolorations around there, and where the hinges were, I filled those back in and stuff. And I'm pretty much done. I went over here. Remember, I was concerned about this top edge. I just cut that back in with my paintbrush, and I'm going to leave that. When I get ready to paint this door, remember, I'm only going to paint the edge, the faces. Okay? But since I put the paint on there and stuff on the sides, I'm going to lightly sand it again. It's not going to take me that long to sand it again. And I've got to let that, before I sand, I got to let it dry a little bit. I got to let it dry enough to the touch so I can lightly sand it. I don't want to sand too much, just a hair. That's all. That's all. So I'm going to let it dry, because I'm not going to flip this around again. I'm going to run the roller. See, if you want, could you run the roller right now? Maybe, but I wouldn't suggest it because you want this paint here to dry first. Okay, because that's covering up raw wood and imperfections and stuff like that. You run the roller over there, it's going to be like you're only covering it once with the roller. Okay, and so that's why I'm going to give it a little bit more extra time while I'm waiting for that. What do you suppose I'm going to do? Yeah, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to start put masking tape up on that, and then lightly sand this, wipe it down, put some little caulking here and there wherever I think some caulking needs to be. This one's got to be sanded all the way out here, remember, to there. And then I'll caulk the edges where I need to have them caulked. I've got enough time to put masking tape down here, get a piece of craft paper and set that down and all that kind of stuff, and have this all ready to be painted. Okay, and wipe all that down. Once I get all that done, I could then take my paintbrush, and then I could come back over here after the caulking dries and stuff. I can hit different things that I feel need to be hit, like this. This is right down to the wood, and there's a couple other spots here and there. So, but the first thing, after I wipe it all down, sand it, wipe it all down, I got to get that caulking on there because I need the caulking to skin up, and then I'll touch up any little imperfections that I feel needs to be ready before running it with the entire paintbrush. And I won't run it with the entire paintbrush until what? Until I get done painting this side of the door. I'll paint this side of the door with the roller. Okay? And I can wait on that one after I get it all wiped down and stuff. I can wait until I flip this around, then do that one the same time, whatever. But then after I sand this, wipe it down, and then roll this while that's wet and while that's drying, then I can go back over and I can paint out that whole entire door jamb and the casing and all that. That's going to take a while in itself. Okay, and am I going to use my little 2-inch brush? I don't know. I might use that 2-inch brush, but I might use this 2.5-inch brush too. I was thinking about washing it out, but once I rinse it out, I won't be able to use it again today because the bristles will be wet. So what am I going to do with that? Yes, I'm going to wrap it. I'm going to wrap it up for the time being because I don't need it anymore. And before I wrap it up, okay, I got a little bit of extra. I still have paint in here, but in fact, you know, before I wipe that down, I'm gonna put that paint back in here. Okay, I don't have a whole lot, and that'll be okay. I don't want to get that too thick in this pan. Okay, and for that matter, if I need to just do small things, you know, I could have dipped right into here, couldn't I have? But then you have to be careful not to dip down too far and all that. Okay, but I can leave that in there. And the thing I want is I want this paint to be wet up to the edge here, if I can get it. Okay, because some of this paint's dry, obviously, way up high, but most of it's going to be okay. But I want a little bit of paint on there, just not a whole lot, just enough that I can depress it into the plastic, right? And so this time I'm gonna use this side over here. I'm gonna use this right there, and I'm gonna wrap it up like that. And see, I can just stop it right there if I want, and flip that over. Depress it into the plastic, right? And that will keep it supple, keep it from drying out. I've got enough paint on there so it's not going to dry out, right? And I'm going to leave that set just like that until I need some more paint. And before I do my next paint, I'll mix that can up again with that stick, because I'm gonna let this dry a little bit, probably 20 minutes or so, however long it takes me, maybe 20 minutes, because I'm gonna go back over on that door jamb, see all the different things I'm doing. But if I do it in sequence, I never have to just sit here twiddling my fingers waiting for the paint to dry. I've always got something to do, right? So I'll start working on that door jamb next. I know the little bit of paint that I had left down in there is it's not gonna get hard. It's not gonna get skinned up on the outside, because I didn't have hardly any paint left in there, did I? And so I put it in there, wiped that edge a little bit. It's in there, and that's all ready for when I get ready to start painting again. You know what I'll do? I'll mix this back up with this, clean that off, dump it in there, and get my paintbrush going, and away I'll go some more. In fact, next time, I think, because I'm not going to be painting that paintbrush all with this paintbrush, I'm just going to be hitting a couple spots here and there. I can do it directly out of this paint can. But don't kid yourself. Make sure you're careful. Last thing you want to do is be carrying a paint can around your house or in your garage or anywhere else and trip and fall and have that sucker tip over on you. I've seen it done before. It's not a pretty sight. I've never done it, but I don't plan on doing it now either. So I'll take that can, move it over here, take this drop and put it over there or something like that. Or I might not even take a chance. I may just put it in there. You see what I mean? I mean, all the different options you got. I really don't like painting out of a paint can. Trust me when I say that. I'd rather pour it in there and then dump that back in there when I'm done. Wipe this out and put it in there and be done with it. I just don't like carrying paint cans around in the house. Okay, off I go, working on this jamb while this door and that door is drying, where I touched them up and painted the edges and all that good stuff. See, you don't have to be a painter. I'm telling you, you just do not have to be a painter. Keep watching this video step by step. I'll show you the rest in a minute.